Good morning, students. Today we are going to discuss about second part of your chapter, General Principles and Process of Isolation of Elements, commonly known as Metallurgy. Lecture 2, Reduction of Metal Oxide. In last part we had discussed about ore, its classification, concentration of ore, so we can separate different impurities or gangue, and enhance percentage of metal in ore by many methods: gravity separation or hydraulic washing, magnetic separation, froth flotation process, and leaching as well. And afterward we had discussed about extraction of metal, in which two parts we had discussed. One is called conversion of ore into metal oxide. It includes calcination and roasting. Both are contrasting process, and by those process we can convert ore into metal oxide. And the second part, that was reduction of metal oxide, where that we are going to discuss here. So reduction of metal oxide, going through that equation or similar equation, mxoy plus yc will give xm plus ycu. Here C is act as reducing agent. In place of C there are many other reducing agent possible. Carbon monoxide is possible here, another metal is possible here, right? So by this equation any metal oxide generally reduce. Thermodynamic principle of metallurgy is very important because most of the metallurgical process based on thermodynamic principles. Delta G equal to delta H minus T delta S. This equation always responsible, and this equation always defines spontaneity of reaction. If delta G will be negative, reaction will be spontaneous. If it is positive, reaction will be non-spontaneous. More and more delta G negative, more stability, more spontaneity of the reaction. For reduction of metal oxide, generally delta H is always positive and delta S also positive. For conversion of metallic oxide into metal, reverse of this reaction we can say, for delta S positive, delta Ng always positive. So for this reverse reaction we can see delta that ZnO will be solid, Zn will be solid, and O2 will be gas. So more gas will form, and hence more disordered will be system, and hence more disordered will be system, and hence more will be delta S. Delta S generally positive. More delta S positive we could get, right? So as there's very clear, for delta G more negative, delta G can become negative in the following situations. Two important situations are there through which we can generally delta G will be negative during reduction of metal oxide. If delta S is positive, that is very clear, and on increasing temperature the value of T delta S increase, so that T delta S will be greater than delta H. In this situation delta G will become negative on increasing temperature. So as we know, delta H and delta S is positive, and hence at higher temperature T delta S become higher than delta H, and in that case delta G will be negative. So it means at higher temperature reduction of metal oxide to metal generally more favorable. And the second point is, if coupling of two reactions, one is oxidation, in above reaction we can see MXOY will give M is reduction and C will give CO is oxidation. MXOY plus C MCO. MXOY will convert into M from here to convert here. In that case it is reduction and C will give CO. In that case it is oxidation. So for these two combinations, one is reduction and other one is oxidation, if delta G will be negative, the reaction becomes feasible. So it need to any reduction reaction, it is a requirement of any reduction reaction that for combination delta G must be negative. There are some graph plotted between delta G naught and T known as Ellingham diagram, and they are very important or helpful for determination of delta G value for various coupling reaction. Ellingham diagram, a plot between delta G versus temperature. It has helped us in predicting the feasibility of thermal reduction of an ore. Here is one general thing is also I shared with you, that there are simply metal oxide reduced into metal and gives oxygen, and reducing agent are many reducing agent possible. Carbon monoxide, carbon will convert into CO will convert into CO2, C directly convert into CO2. So there are many other reactions possible, and those with when all those react with metal, such reduction, such coupling reaction possible. And for different metals, for which coupling reaction delta G will be negative, will be feasible, will be spontaneous, otherwise would not. Right? So these are here I'm sharing Ellingham diagram. You can see delta G values with temperature for different metal oxide given here. Most of the metal oxide on increasing temperature, delta G value increase or become less negative. But here you can see for carbon monoxide, as on increasing temperature delta G naught value become more negative, and as for any metal oxide or any reaction, delta G will be negative, more and more negative, reaction will be more and more feasible. So at different temperature you can see for aluminium at 400 degrees Celsius, aluminum oxide is more stable as compared to at 800 degrees Celsius. This information we can get from Ellingham diagram. Here many examples are shared with you. You can see that example, aluminium gives aluminum oxide. This is around at 800 degrees Celsius. Value of that aluminum to aluminum oxide delta G naught is minus 900 kilojoule per mole, and chromium to chromium oxide minus 500 kilojoule per mole. So for a reduction reaction where reducing agent is aluminium and Cr2O3 will convert into Cr, delta Rg naught will be minus 400 kilojoule per mole, and it is very clear that aluminium would act as reducing agent for Cr2O3. But vice versa is not possible, because in vice versa reaction that value will be plus 400 Kelvin kilojoule per mole. In that case reaction will not be feasible. We can see through Ellingham diagram at 800 degrees Celsius aluminium can reduce chromium, iron and zinc, because the value of aluminium to aluminum oxide will be more negative as compared to chromium to chromium oxide, zinc to zinc oxide and iron to iron oxide respectively. So aluminium can reduce all those three, but cannot reduce magnesium at that temperature around 800 degrees Celsius. But above 1600 degrees Celsius aluminium can reduce magnesium as well, because at above 1600 degrees Celsius, delta G naught value of aluminium to aluminum oxide is more than magnesium to magnesium, is more negative than magnesium to magnesium oxide. In the metallurgy of iron, we can use coke as a reducing agent. At 1073 Kelvin, for this combination C2CO FeO2Fe, C2CO FeO2Fe, for this combination we can see at 1073 Kelvin around they just crossed each other. FeO CrCO, they just crossed each other. FeO CrCO. So above 1073 Kelvin at each and every temperature, FeO can be reduced by coke, and this reaction will be more and more favorable as temperature increase. In case of copper, this is also again very important thing. In case of copper, we can see copper already has very less negative delta G value. It means copper oxide already less stable, and but as temperature increase, its stability again decrease. So it is very easy to know that copper easily reduced from its copper oxide by carbon by any reaction. So carbon will convert into CO2, so carbon will convert into CO, or CO will convert into CO2. Whatever our reaction, copper easily reduced from its oxide. But as we know that copper oxide is very unstable, that's why copper itself convert into itself reduced by self reduction method. We use self reduction method in that reaction. That method, copper sulfide and copper oxide mixed together, we'll discuss in the metallurgy of copper, mixed together, and by self reduction method they will convert into each other. So that is very, very important. Now, so it is very clear that thermodynamic principle of metallurgy and Gillingham diagram are very, very important to explain. Two examples you must know. One is from aluminium and chromium couple, and for another one is FeO and C couple. Remember these two examples and you can explain all those things. And for any other condition, just remember, for formation of metal oxide which has more negative value of delta G will act as reducing agent for others, right? Now electrochemical principle of metallurgy is very, very easy. Delta G naught is equal to minus Ne naught F, and in that case for any reaction E naught will be positive, so delta G naught will be negative. So E naught, how much E naught will be positive? It define how much you need to give current, will define how much you need to find current for a combination, will define the possibility of reaction. So by this equation we can explain electrochemical principle of metallurgy also. Here we are going to discuss about extraction of iron by some line diagram. We know that hematite ore is main ore of iron. Some other ore are also given. Gravity separation method we use first to remove SiO2 and other silicates. Silica is main impurity with iron generally found. Concentrated ore by gravity separation, hydraulic washing have a small amount of SiO2, and then calcination, by calcination CO2, SO2, H2O3, H2O, other impurities removed. Calcinated ore plus impurity, also impurity remain again. Smelting, the third step, in which that second one is calcination, third one is smelting, and first one is gravity separation. Smelting has been done in a blast furnace, and in blast furnace 8 part of calcinated ore, 3 part coke powder, and 1 part limestone. Limestone is used as a flux which combined with gangue impurity and form slag, CaSiO3. If a P2O5 is an impurity, in that case it forms Ca3PO4 का whole thrice, which is called Thomas slag. Afterwards, in last part of blast furnace, we get molten iron, in which 4% carbon is there. This is called pig iron, and some other impurities are also there. Fe scraps, some old Fe pieces, coke, air blasted in the same furnace or different furnace. In that case, the percentage of carbon reduced and become cast iron, 3% carbon, and that whole mixture heating in reverberatory furnace lined with hematite. So most part of carbon consumed, and around 0.4% impurity is there, in which 0.25% is carbon. So it is purest form of iron, which is wrought iron. So we can get wrought iron by that way. Here is that blast furnace, the zone of combustion, carbon will convert into carbon dioxide. In the above part, zone of reduction, where Fe2O3 plus CO will convert into Fe plus CO. Zone of reduction, again Fe2O3 plus CO, FeCO2, FeO plus CO, FeCO2. It is around between 900. That zone of combustion is below 900 degrees Celsius. Zone of reduction is between 900 to 1500 degrees Celsius, 900 to 1500 Kelvin. Zone of slag formation, above that CaCO3 plus gives CaO plus CO2, and the CaSiO3 fusible slag. And zone of fusion, this is the lower part of furnace. Molten iron is heavier than from molten slag. So slag, molten iron remain in bottom and slag in above part. Molten iron tapped off from the furnace solidified into blocks called picks. As I already mentioned, limestone is added as flux, and sulfur, silicon and phosphorus are oxidized and passed into the slag. The metal is removed and freed from the slag by passing through rollers. There are other different methods also, but remember it only. Now, extraction of copper. Copper pyrite, CuFeS2, E is small, CuFeS2. First is froth flotation process, remove SiO2 and other silicates. Concentrated ore then, plus SiO2. Roasting in reverberatory furnace. Roasted ore, Cu2S unaffected, Fe, FeO, SiO2, CO2. Smelting now. In roasting, this is very important to know, iron has better tendency to combine with oxygen. That's why after roasting, no Cu2O or almost very small amount of CO2 will form, and all iron, most of the iron is converted into oxide form. So the purpose of conversion of oxide ore into oxide has not been done here, because Fe will convert into FeO, and Fe has better tendency. If sometimes any CO2O will convert into Fe, CO2O will form, FeS will react with that CO2 and convert into CO2S again. So it means in roasting, most of the iron sulfide will convert into iron oxide. Right? Now Cu2S plus FeS, small amount, and slag, FeSiO3, this is main slag, FeSiO3 form here, and smelted part after smelting, roasting ore, coke, silica and blast furnace we add, so we get slag, and this combination in which Cu2s and FeS, this is called matte. This matte transfer into Bessemer converter, this process is called Bessemerization, in which we add some iron scrap, coke and air blasted. So start slag formation. After very short interval, after some time, passing of air is stopped and heating continued. So on heating, in that part, some part of in Bessemer, after some time when we stop passing air, some part of the matte is converted into Cu2 and some part remain as Cu2s. Cu2 and Cu2s after heating self reduce and convert into copper. You can see in above reaction. Bessemerization, initially Cu2s will be converted into Cu2 but not whole. Cu2O plus Cu2s will convert into Cu plus SO2. This blister copper is very impure and can be purified by poling. First step is poling, this is refining, remove SO2, S2O3, FeSiO3, so we will got pure copper. Poling we will discuss in refining processes, and then electro refining. In electrolyte, 15% copper sulfate and 5% H2SO4. Cathode is pure copper strip and anode is impure copper strip. And pure copper you would get 99.9%. So this is process of extraction of copper. Extraction of zinc we can see here. Finally divided zinc blend. Froth flotation first with little pine xanthate, little acid. So PBS remove. First we need to remove PBS. And then more pine oil added, so ZNS float. So initially the first step, first froth flotation process is used to remove PBS. And then when all PBS has been removed, then we use more pine oil, add some more activator also, froth activator like copper sulfate. So better more and more zinc sulfide came in froth. Next is concentrated ore roasting in controlled air contained, but the temperature is around 850 to 900 only. Roasted ore and other impurities remained, and then smelting, heating around 1300 to 1400 degrees Celsius. In that case, what we would get? Spalter, zinc plus impurities. Generally use electro refining to convert 15% zinc sulfate plus 5% H2SO4. Cathode, pure aluminium strip is there, and thick sheet of zinc impure is there. So pure what we would get? Pure zinc we would get, pure copper pure zinc we would get 99.9%. But one more important or more better or technique is also used, thermal refining 20 degrees Celsius, thermal refining at some, so this, so thermal refining at 2000 degrees Celsius. So at 2000 degrees Celsius other impurities remains, but zinc and cadmium as well as mercury occurs in vapor form. On further cooling around 1100 degrees Celsius, mercury 767 degrees Celsius, cadmium removed, and pure zinc we would get. So this is also very important process, right? So remember all those process, and this is very important part for reduction of oxide to metal. Thank you for today.